Hey guys, it's Rob. Welcome back to Church Talk. All right, and then for me, this is my little setup here. Is just use my iPad here. I don't have it out right now, but a lot of times when I lead from guitar, there's a foot pedal. A friend of mine told me a few years ago to go and look for this. So I'm gonna zoom in here. It's an AirTurn BT200. What this does is you can connect this to your iPad, and then you can turn the page through Bluetooth. So when I'm standing up here playing guitar, I don't want to stop playing, so I can turn the page to a different song or turn the page to the next part of the song. But I can just click it and it'll advance to the next page or to the next song or go back. A lot of different things you can set up with it. So if you're leading from a guitar, that may be something that you want to check out. I just recently found that a couple years ago. A worship leader friend of mine, he told me, he said, "Man, this has been a great tool for me." He's like, "I really need the words in front of me, and a lot of times I need the chords as well." And I used to hate having words in front of me. I kind of thought, that's cheating, but really it's not, because there is so much music out there that it's easy to forget how some of it goes. We're kicking out new music all the time in the Christian music industry, and so if you're playing something that's relatively new to you, or maybe the congregation hears it because it's on the radio, or whatever the case is, there's so much music out there that a lot of times it sounds similar too. So it's almost like it keeps me on track. So anymore, I kind of like having the music in front of me so that it keeps me on track about what we're doing next. And now, I'm not saying that we stay on the set list. There's a lot of times we'll go off the set list, and that's okay. But finding out that it's really not cheating to have the words and the chords in front of you. Half the time when you play by ear, you play different chords than the way it's written. So you'll have your bass player or your electric player or your keyboard player, they're reading music, and if you're not on the same thing as what they're on, then it's really noticeable. So it's helped me a lot to where my ear may not hear, like if we're in G and we go to an A minor, I might hear a C, and play that, and it sounds good if you don't know any different. But when you put the band together and part of you's playing an A minor and part of you's playing a C, then it doesn't sound good at that point. But when you're just practicing that at your house, you're playing by ear, if you don't have those notes in front of you, you might be practicing it the way your ear sounds, the way your ear likes it, but it's not the actual, the way that it's written. So when you get with other musicians who's playing it the way that it's written, it keeps everybody on the same page. So anymore, I kind of really like to have that music in front of me. Not that it's so much really needed, but it keeps me on track with the way that I'm going to play the notes the way that it's written. Or if we happen to change it up a little bit, I can make some notes in there and we can all be on the same page. Because there's a lot of times we may not practice a song for a long time. We may just practice it. I may hear it I feel like the Lord wants to hear this song on a Sunday. We'll practice it on Friday, and no one really, I may not have ever led that song before. So I kind of have that in front of me to keep myself in line. So you guys who lead worship, what are some methods that you use? Maybe if you don't have an iPad in front of you, what are some methods you use to kind of keep yourself in line? Is it that now if you're full time and you can devote yourself to practice and practice and practice and know those songs by heart, that's awesome. But I know I'm speaking to a lot of people who are not full-time. They give of themselves 40, 50, 60 hours a week to their job, and you don't have as much time as you would want to spend in practice. So you're the one who I'm really speaking with, is how do you, if you don't have the words in front of you, how do you remember all those lyrics? How do you, what's the process that you go through? Comment that down below. Like I say, for me, I try to practice as often as I can what songs we're going to be doing, so that it's second nature to me to play them. But I like having that iPad in front of me with the correct words and the correct chords, in case I get up here in front of everybody and I'm standing here and this is my view and I go blank for a moment. Well, if I have that in front of me, it allows me to get back where I'm supposed to be. Because there are times when I would forget what song we had planned coming up next, or I would just forget the lyrics completely. And so having that app right in front of me has helped out a lot with that. All right, one thing we didn't really talk much about during when we were on the stage. I'm back here now in our worship office. I'm not going to show you the rest of the office because it's still in transition. It was a mess. It was a storage room during the work, and we haven't yet done. I'll show you guys what we come up with in this space whenever we're finished. But I wanted to show you guys what microphones we're using. We're using the Shure Beta 87A for our leaders, for myself and my wife. These things, they're all of our microphones are new. We went total wireless to do away with all wires on the stage, or most wires on the stage. But these things have been really nice. They're rugged. They weren't too expensive as well. They're professional grade, but they're not as expensive as some others. But they're budget friendly for the most part. But they're not cheap. They're not cheap by any stretch of the imagination. But we'll show you guys some things that we did kind of, I don't want to say we cheaped out on, but for the team itself, because we had to buy quite a few of them, is we went with the Shure 58s, which the SM58 in a corded mic is rock solid. I mean, you can't damage one of those. Those things are awesome. So we thought, well, you know what? Let's try that same thing in the cordless and see how it works. And there are some issues that we have had with those. The first issue that we had with the SM58 cordless is that they don't say what their frequency is. They say like E4 or whatever. So you don't know what that frequency is. So you got to do a little bit more work and look up what those frequency charts are to know what frequency range, what bandwidth you're going to be on. So if you're looking at some wireless microphones and you just want it to be more of a plug and play type of, you don't just go with the plug and play, because a lot of those are really inexpensive. Some of you guys may be having some good service out of some cheaper microphones. And these are about the cheapest that I would prefer to buy. They're working well, but they do give us some challenges. Those are one challenge. The other challenge is that they're not rack mountable. I thought they were when we bought them, but they are not. So they're sitting on top of our rack right now, but they do tend to, they want to jump channels every once in a while. We got them all set up. We had one singer singing in one, and it was coming through another singer's channel, even though they were on separate channels. So I had to reset it. For some odd reason, both transmitters were working in one receiver. It was really weird, but we got it taken care of, and they sound good. So there's no issue with the sound, but there are some things there with those cheaper microphones that you'll have to put up with, and you'll have to do a little bit more research to know what frequency bandwidth that you're on. So I would recommend going with those. If you go with the Shure, those Beta 87s, they show you the frequency you're on, the bandwidth. The SM58s do not. Or if you go with the PG58s, they do not. The PG58s tend to have, we did buy some of those as well for our mobile, and they tend to have a little bit of noise when you're holding on to them. You know, if you're just kind of holding on to the microphone and you're scratching the mic, or your hand is rubbing the mic, you can hear that a lot more. The SM58's not so much. It's probably still there, but I don't notice it as much. It seems like it's a little bit more. It sounds a little bit better when you're handling it. I don't hear so much handling noise with that one. But those are a couple of the microphones that we're using. Maybe the next time when we'll bring our tech director on, we'll go over a little bit more about microphones and how the setup and everything is. I look forward to showing you guys how we got everything set up and what we're using, so that maybe you guys can share some input and give us a little bit more knowledge, because we have not arrived by any means. I just want to share with you guys what we're doing. So like I said, so maybe that if you're looking at doing going wireless, maybe you can learn from what we have found out, share our experiences. But if you've already been there and you have some input that can help us out, we would greatly appreciate it. And guys, if there's anything that you've seen that I did not talk about with our sound or with our stage, just comment it down below, and we'll talk about that in a later video. But be sure you guys hit the like button, share it if you like this content. Be sure you subscribe. And once again, thank you guys for watching Church Talk.